guys, it's Camille at Montage PR. Just hang on for 1 second. We're going to wait for a couple more people to join the room and then we'll get started. I was hoping that we could get, some inspiration on some people as they're on their way to work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course. Be perfect. Oh my gosh, you should let me know. Oh my gosh.
Because I was wondering, Davis. I wish it was.
I was like, oh my gosh, where should get that name? I love that name.
That's so nice of you.
It's perfect.
I wish. Thanks.
It's a huge trademark for copyright.
Yeah, right? I didn't even think of that.
People nowadays.
That's cute. Thank you. I don't want to keep it too long, so I guess we can get started and they can just catch us in the replay.
Yeah, I ain't nowhere to go home.
Yeah. You guys, I am just so humbled and honored to be here today. I have Emmy Award-winning journalist Michelle Richardson. So I want to let you just do your thing. If you can just tell them a little bit about who you are and where you work and what you do.
So, like she said, my name is Michelle Richardson. I am born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I know it's you'll hear a lot of good coming out of Baltimore, but I love my city. So I graduated in 2015 with a Bachelor of Science degree in corporate communication with a track in journalism. I know I wanted to be a journalist literally since like elementary school. Like I've never had any other dream.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I was raised by my grandparents, so they would always make us watch the news or make us read newspapers, so like to keep us in tune. You know what I mean? And my grandparents are really like, this is what's going on. Wow. And even to this day, I like when I go see them, I read the newspaper with my granddad. So yeah, I graduated in 2015. It's so funny because a lot of things were happening fast for me, but I want to stress the importance of sacrificing and paying your dues. When I was in college, I did a internship every semester. And like, of course, my friends ragged on me because they were like, girl, you're in college, you need to party, you need to come out with us. But it was like, I knew like I had to make those connections. Like in journalism, it is literally about who you know. It's not really about what you know, because like once you get in, it's common sense.
Yes.
You ask, it's common sense. Oh, your son just died. How are you feeling? Like, it's common sense. But it's definitely about who you know. So I did internships literally every semester. And the funny thing is, you're only supposed to do internships if you're getting college credit or paid for it. I was getting neither, and I was still doing them. So technically, I was doing them illegally. Brandon, that is not okay. But I knew that I wanted those connections. So my very first internship was at WYPR Radio with Dan Rodricks, and he's a Baltimore Sun columnist.
Okay.
So I did that. Thankfully, it was like literally 2 blocks up the street from my school. So I would like go to class, shoot to my internship. And then from that one, I did one at WBAL, 10 or 11. I was like, I want this internship, like it's mine. My dad was like, you should apply for a couple more as a backup. And I was like, no, I just want this one. And I actually got that one. So I was super happy that I got that one. And that leads, I guess that kind of led me here, because when I was an intern at WBAL, one of my best friends, who was actually just nominated with me as well, he was on the assignment desk, and he trained me as an intern.
Wow. And
to this day, we're best friends. So after I did that internship, I was still in school, and this comes back to the sacrifices and like, I know a lot of people don't like to do things if it's not pretty.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people I know were saying, I don't want to do an internship unless it's paid. And it's like, I didn't really care if I was getting paid. I was getting that experience. Like, I knew my resume was going to be stacked.
Yes.
So in college, I was working on campus. I had like a little work study job. I was doing the internships, and I was also working overnight at the Horseshoe Casino as a waitress. As I was a full-time student. But I was like, I want this, you know what I mean? So I gave myself, I was like, I'm only going to be at the casino for a year. I ended up being there for a year and a half, but it served its purpose in that moment. Because about 6 months after I graduated, a friend of mine called me, and she was on the assignment desk at WJZ, Channel 13. And she was like, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going to go teach. I want to be a teacher now, and I don't want to be a journalist anymore. you know, I could recommend you to my boss for my spot. Yes, like, okay, girl power. So I was like, definitely. So I sent my resume to her boss, and I literally called her every day, literally every day. I even called her, emailed her. I know she was like, this girl is so annoying. I literally called her every day, and like, I am so grateful for her. Her name is Tanya Black, and she's at WJZ, and she is just so like, she should be running it, but that's another story for another day. So she hired me as an assignment desk assistant. I was a desk assistant, and I worked at WJZ for 2 years. Couple of things, I was super happy because Oprah worked there, so I would walk past Oprah's picture every day and be like, yeah, like Oprah worked there, so I could be like, oh, I got my first job where Oprah worked. Yes. So, and then I worked there for 2 years, and this is sacrifice. I was freelance the entire time, which means I had no benefits. So if a penny fell out the sky and hit me in the head, I was done. I had no benefits, no health insurance, no dental, no nothing. I could only work like 30 hours a week, so like I couldn't even work full-time hours. So I was actually still like at the casino trying to do that overnight, and then like heading to WJZ like to be there by 9. It was draining, but I was like, I can't do this. And my boss sat me down. She was like, I know like right now in the casino is your money. She was like, but I got you. I promise I got you. She was like, just like the casino, I got you. Wow. And I was like, you sure? She was like, I got you. So I quit the casino, and she had me. She had me. So I stayed at WJZ for 2 years, which I was super excited about because that's my hometown station. So I was super excited. Like, not a lot of people, when you're becoming a journalist, not a lot of people get to, you know, work in their hometown. Not, you got to go to like out in the middle of nowhere reporting on cows who just had a baby. Like, you literally got to go to like market like 250. You know what I mean? Yes. And so for me to be 6 months out of college and I start in a medium-sized market like Baltimore, Baltimore is what, number 26 out of 200? That's pretty dope. Like, I was pretty blessed. So I definitely did my best every day. And then my best friend who trained me as an intern at WBAL, he called me one day. He said, hey, we have an opening here at WJLA. That's where we are now, guys. He was like, at WJLA, if you want it. And I was like, well, I wasn't really looking to leave, but I can't not jump at this opportunity. Like, to go from market 26 to a top 10 television market, like unreal. Oh, like, for me to jump 20 spots, absolutely. So I sent him my resume. I didn't even really apply. I came in and my desk manager was like, you're hired. I like your resume. He was like, and Ryan recommends you. So fast forward to now. I've been here. It'll be 2 years in September. And you don't even know.
Okay.
Oh, thank you guys for hanging with us. Please, the weather is funky. It's affecting our connection, but just stay in there. We have so many gems that I want you to get. So you were talking about recognizing your blessings.
Yes. So sometimes I have a difficult time because here I am. I got hired 6 months. Like, that doesn't happen. I got hired 6 months after graduating college. It doesn't happen in this day and age. And here I am, like, I'm just moving up the ladder quickly. Here I am, not even 30 years old yet, and I got an Emmy. So it's just like so many things are happening so fast, and then it's like I kind of have a hard time accepting it because I have friends that are, you know, been out of college for 5-6 years, and they're like, I still can't get a job in my field, and I'm like, why me? You know what I mean? It's like, why me? So, but I just try to be grateful and humble every day. It still literally blows my mind that I have an Emmy and that I'm not 30 yet, because I didn't think that I would get an Emmy until like well into my 30s or my 40s. Yes. So it's so insane. I gotta show you the video. I recorded when they called us. I was so nervous.
I can't imagine you were in the newsroom.
No. So I was at the Emmys and I recorded.
Oh, okay.
When they were calling the nominees, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they called them, they called us. And I'm like super nervous, and I'm like, oh God, I can't breathe. And like they just called us, and I was just like my legs turned to mush. And my best friend was like, come on, and I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So it was insane.
But the moment you found out, where were you? That you were nominated.
That I was nominated? Oh, yeah, I was here in the newsroom. When I found out I was nominated, I was here in the newsroom. It's so funny because when I come in for my shift at night, I relieve my best friend, and he had set like the, it's weird, it's like a portrait. It's like, they put it on your desk, and he had set it on my desk, and I was like, me? Like,
goodness.
it's insane. I just didn't expect it. Like, I was like, okay, cool, I'm nominated, but I really didn't expect to win. Like,
You've been nominated.
Yeah, it's a blessing. Mm-hmm. I literally went to the Emmys for the food and the drink. Like, I literally was like, okay.
I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna win tonight. Like, I'm just here for the food and drink. So I was just like eating and drinking, and they called us, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And it's like when you go up stage, they give you an Emmy. But it's not your Emmy. It's just like the one you hold on stage. So as we were coming up stage, she was like, "Oh," she was trying to grab that, and I was like, "No,
yeah, you don't just tease me."
And she was like, "We have yours right here," and I was like, "You sure?" So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But yes, that's just a little bit about me. Wow. Yeah,
that's amazing. Can you tell people who may not know, like, what are the different, I guess, tiers of the Emmys? Because they may see our favorite A and B listers getting Emmys, or even the daytime Emmys for TV shows. So can you tell us in terms of the news?
So like you said, of course you have the A and B listers. They get like a really big one, like their Emmys.
Oh,
like
really? It's not the same. Okay.
Yeah, it's like really, it's the same, but theirs is just like taller.
Okay.
Just really big. Of course, like you said, you get the daytime, you get the View, you know, the Real, who win their Emmys and things like that. So this is the regional Emmys. So this is for stations that are in the DMV, stations that are in DC, Maryland, Virginia. This is your regional Emmys. And we're just competing. We're going up against all of our competition that are here. Our competition in Virginia, our competition in DC or in Maryland. You know what I mean? Like I had to go up against WJZ. So my old station. Yeah, so I was like, oh, we're on. So I was happy that they were nominated, but I was still like, I don't want y'all to win. But yeah, so this is the regional Emmys. But I will have a huge Emmy one day. But I'm still an Emmy award winning journalist. Like, it doesn't matter the size of the Emmy. You know, I can still smack that on my resume.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
your PhD.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So in the region, it's just all the stations in the region. We come together. Like, actually now we're in July. We're in book. I know a lot of people don't know what book is. So, and a lot of people call it sweeps.
I was gonna say, is it like sweeps?
We're in sweeps right now.
Okay.
So we're in July. For the month of July, we're in sweeps. It started on the 4th of July. So we're in sweeps right now, so everything is just go, go, go. Everything needs to be precise. Like, we really don't have room for error because we need those ratings. We don't need any room for error because any room for error and someone could be like, and change the channel, and that's gonna take our ratings like, and we don't need it. It's already only really 4 stations in this market, in the DC market, and like, even though it's only 4, you don't want to be number 4. Absolutely. Like, you know what I mean? So. So right now we're in sweeps. It lasts a month. It's annoying. I'm gonna say it. It's annoying. Sweeps is annoying because you always got to be like on your toes. It's like everything. Like, I mean, you got to be like the first. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you got to be the first, but still maintaining your accuracy. So yeah, it's just annoying.
That's amazing. I can't imagine how on a normal day how hectic the newsroom is, but especially during this time.
Yeah, definitely. The newsroom is so hectic at any given moment. It's so weird because, like, you'll just be sitting there and then, like, you will literally blink and then, like, everyone is rushing, like, oh my God, something happened. And you're like, you just got, like, a million other things to do. And I'm on the assignment desk. And the best way I can describe the assignment desk is if the newsroom is a body, I'm the heart. Everything comes through me. I gotta push everything else out, you know, and that goes to maintaining my relationships. So if something happens, I gotta call my police folks. I gotta call them. I gotta text them. I gotta call my fire folks. I gotta let them. I gotta get my camera crews out the door. You know what I mean? You just met one. I gotta get him out the door as soon as possible. Hey, I need you to take your equipment and your camera, and I need you to go.
That's interesting.
Just
literally assigning the news.
Yeah. So yeah, that's literally
not
what the
just passing stories and approving.
Yeah, that's literally what the assignment desk does. I assign the news. On my shift, the reporters don't really come in until about 3:30 in the morning, because I'm on Good Morning Washington. So they come in around 3:30 in the morning. When they come in, I have everything for them ready. And not to discredit them, because I love what they do, because they're so versatile. And we have some amazing MMJs, and we have some amazing reporters here at WJLA. But when they come in, I have everything ready for them. This is what you're doing today. This is where you're going. This is the cameraman that you're going to be with. I need you guys to do this. I need you live at the top of the 6 or the top of the 7. You know, you have a hit here, you have a hit here. I need you to shoot a look live for me. So it's a lot on the assignment desk. Yeah, I think that people don't give the assignment desk the credit that we deserve, because it's a lot. Like, everything comes through us. Like, the police are calling me, or I'm calling them mainly, and telling me, yeah, it was 4 people shot and 2, you know, are in critical condition, and this and that. I have to send that out to the reporters. I gotta put that into the system. That way the producers know to grab it and put it in their shows. You know what I mean? So I really have no room for error. And I'm human, you know, sometimes I miss things. You're like, oh, okay, I miss things. You backtrack, you pick it up, and you keep on moving. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a lot on the assignment desk.
Wow.
It is a lot, girl. Ooh.
That's so interesting. When you were speaking, that just reminded me how into like the police and the fire EMS radio I used to be.
Oh,
like, that's
girl.
like fun for me. Is that crazy?
No.
Or I'm reading the crime section on Thursdays in the paper.
No, it is so funny. I'm glad you brought up paper too. But at my assignment desk, what I just showed you, I have about seven police and fire scanners. And they're blaring at me all night. So I had one for PG, I had one for Virginia, I had one for DC, I had one for and then it has little sub ones. I had one for Alexandria, I had one for Fairfax.
Oh my
And they're blaring at me all night. Some nights it's like watching paint dry. Because I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna talk, like nothing's going on. But you need that break sometimes. And sometimes it's just like, oh my God, we got a 7-car pile up here. Oh my God, this lady is giving birth. Like, you just hear everything on the scanner, and you're like, oh my God, she's giving birth. Like, you just literally hear everything. Like, oh yeah, we got an accident. Oh man, we got a manhole, and it just turned into a sinkhole, and a car fell in it. Like, you literally hearing everything.
Wow. And how do you distinguish what's news?
Oh my goodness. So, oh my goodness, I got anxiety thinking about it. But it's so crazy because, I mean, accidents happen every day. But what is really important to us is if you have an accident and it's on something like the Capitol Beltway or BW Parkway 295, which you all know is already horrible because it's only 2 lanes and it's holding up traffic, I most likely want to send a cameraman there because it's going to affect the morning commute. People are going to be late to work. And then, so I have to get that information, how many cars are involved, is anybody injured?
Okay, good.
Okay, so I have to take all that information, how many cars are involved, how many people are injured, how long the road is going to be closed, and I have to take all that. I have to gather all that because at any given moment, someone is saying, "Michelle, how many people are injured?" And if I don't know, I look so stupid. Yes. So I take that and I push it up to my traffic reporter. Her name is Julie. She's awesome. She's awesome with traffic. So I push it up to her and she reports it.
Wow.
But yeah. So like some things you hear on the news and like you hear it. I mean, not on the news. I'm sorry. You hear it on the scanners and you're like, "Is this serious? Is this serious?" It's not really that serious. You're like, "Yeah, okay, cool. That's not too serious." But some things you hear and you got to turn the scanner up a little bit more.
Yes.
And you got to pause the scanner and be like, "Okay, I need to stay here because I need to hear more and more." Like just last week, I heard Virginia State Police saying, they kept calling out numbers, 65 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, 80, 90. And I'm like, okay, this sounds like a chase. And it turned out to be a chase. A mother with her 3 kids in the back. She was driving erratically and she didn't want to stop. So when they tried to pull her over, she just like kept going. She got up to like 120 miles an hour. And I heard that. I was like, this sounds like a chase. So I turned it up a little bit more. And I'm listening, and I'm like, yeah, this sounds like a chase. So I had my cameraman go, and God bless his soul, because I had him doing 120 miles an hour, trying to keep up with the police and the lady in the car.
Yeah.
But we want that footage. And turns out it was good because we were the only ones that were there. We were the only ones that got that footage. So it was pretty good.
Wow, and that means everything when you're in book.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like, of course you want to be the first ones there, you want to be accurate, you want to be the first ones to get that shot up. Definitely.
That's crazy. Can you take us to the Capital Gazette? I don't know if people know exactly why you got your Emmy, but can you kind of go over what that was like?
Yeah, so my Emmy is, it's bittersweet because I won, which everyone wants to. But then it's also bittersweet because I had to cover 5 of my colleagues dying in their own newsroom. So Jared Ramos last year on June 28th, he walked into the Capital Gazette newspaper and he started shooting. And like you guys saw, our newsroom is pretty much glass. Like when you walk in, their newsroom was glass, and he started shooting and he killed 5 journalists last year. And so it's bittersweet because we won for continued coverage, 24-hour continued coverage. 24 hours. We were there outside their newsroom. We were here. I was here. No shower. No shower.
Out of yourself and do your job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it hits you because I think this year alone, 18 journalists have died. You know, I know people think, oh, you guys just report the news, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, people really have a gripe against us. People don't like us.
That's scary.
It's very scary. People don't like us. So we're always getting threatening calls and threatening emails, and, you know, someone is always trying to come into your newsroom. You know, that's why we have security, because it's sad. And last year, he killed 5 journalists who were just literally trying to do their job. And the Capital Gazette was so resilient against this. They were amazing because they gathered themselves and they put out a paper the next day. I was in awe. I was in awe. They put out a paper the next day, and I was just grateful that we could tell their story. I didn't even care about the no shower, no brushing my teeth. Like literally, it was 24 hours.
Yes.
Like we're here. Like
you realize the news is a 24 hours.
News is 24 hours. It does not stop. I always say news never sleeps. News never knows no holidays.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to where my manager, he always asks us what holidays we want off, but he doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like news knows no holidays. We are always open. So I laugh when people say, oh, what are you doing for Christmas? And I'm like, I'll be at work because you know what I mean? Like I'm always here, and I think that's what the staff at the Capital Gazette stuck to. They're like, we just lost 5 colleagues, but we're going to go in this temporary newsroom because they had moved them, and they're like, we're going to put out this paper for our colleagues. We're going to show them that this is not stopping us. Like this has not stopped us, and it won't. So we won for our continuing coverage, 24 hours. We had a reporter always at the Capital Gazette. One came in, one switched out. I was here, my colleagues were here, they left, I came in, they left. Like, we were just literally a team. It was very sickening. That someone could just walk into someone's newsroom like that, because he had a gripe against the paper. But it made us stronger. But yeah, a lot of journalists died. I think this year 18 journalists have died from either getting kidnapped overseas, either getting bombed overseas, or even just here when people get upset at you and they come to where you are and harm you. Yeah.
Where does that passion come from that you're willing to put your life on the line?
Telling people stories that don't have a voice. There's a lot of people here that don't have a voice, and I see that with me being from Baltimore. There's a lot of people who don't know where to turn to, a lot of people who won't be listened to, you know what I mean? So I think it's just that being a journalist is really a selfless job. It's literally telling those people's stories, trying to create something better for these people, trying to open up the eyes and see, look, these people are struggling. You know what I mean? It's not easy for us when a mother is crying in the middle of the street because her son just got, gunned down. But we also know that if we don't tell that mother's story, her son's killer will never be found. You know what I mean? So it's really a selfless job. It's really helping our community. And I know people see it as oh my God, you guys are just being nosy. But it's so much deeper than that. Yes, that's the root of it. You gotta be nosy to be a journalist. You guys to be a little bit nosy, a little bit too curious. But it's also just wanting to help that person because you know if you were in that position, you would want to help. You know, I get so many phone calls a day where a woman or even a man, child, whoever will say, "Oh my God, I've been calling around to stations all day." Okay, well, I can take the 5 minutes to listen to your issue. I can see what we can do. That's all it takes. You know what I mean? That's all it really takes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's so funny because I call you guys the gatekeepers, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because you're the decision-making factor whether something goes live or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go back because you were talking about building relationships and we were talking about this sidebar because I'm like, what? You care about your relationships?
Oh, yes.
Like, I preach every day about building relationships with editors, with you know, producers, because you guys don't have to tell my story.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to give people who are either in public relations or aspiring to be that, you know, that it's really important to build your media list and not just via email.
Listen, I tell all my interns, network, network, network. That is your bread and butter. That is your steak and potatoes. You need to network, network, network. I don't care if you walk away from an internship and you don't know all the lingo of journalism. I need you to network. I need you to walk out of that internship with at least a letter of recommendation, business cards, and the verbal exchange that, hey, you can call me if you need anything. Like, I need you to network. Because that's all it's about is networking. It's really networking and making those connections because it's really all about who you know in journalism, honestly. And it's not easy to get into it, but once you get that 1 foot, don't even need 2. Once you get that 1 foot in the door, you're in there. You are in there. Once you get that 1 foot and you get that one like credible thing on your resume, you're in there. But like anything else, you gotta hustle. You gotta hustle, you know what I mean? And you gotta go to the NABJ conferences and things like that. And you gotta build your circle of friends. You know, a lot of my friends are like you, because you're one of my friends, damn girl. They know
it took a while.
They do PR or they work at other stations. They may be my competition, but they're still my friends. So they do PR or they work at other news stations or they write for a newspaper. You know, and I always try to help them because you got to pass your lessons on.
That is crazy.
It is not easy getting in this business. And I would not be in this business if my friend Courtney didn't say, hey, I'm leaving my position at WJZ. Do you want it? And it's so funny because Courtney and I, we were morning anchors in high school together. Our high school had like a little like morning announcements where we were morning anchor. And we went to high school together and Courtney was like, hey, I'm leaving. Do you want this? So when I left WJZ, I told my friend Bria, I said, hey, I'm leaving. Do you want this? And now Bria's in that position.
Not only to get in the position, but sow those seeds.
Correct.
Oh my gosh. And people think, particularly in women of color, that that's the difficult part of being in the industry.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? I haven't had well, you know what? I don't think I experienced the fact that, I would say I experienced ageism more than I experienced colorism in this industry. Once I won my Emmy, it was a lot of cold shoulders, honestly.
Really?
Not throwing shade, but yeah. Cause
you would think that would show, hey, I'm here.
Correct.
You know, to those seniors, tenured.
No, they were like, this little girl not even 30 yet. She got an Emmy. She only been here for like a year and a half. What? I've been here for 20. I ain't got one.
I can imagine.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, but I'm blessed. That's all I can say is that I'm blessed.
And not one of them steal your shine.
Yeah, I'm blessed, and I put in the work. So
you know you deserve that.
Yeah, I definitely deserve it. Humbly, you know. It doesn't change me. It just lets me. Actually, when I got this one, I was like, all right, I need a few more. Like,
hello.
Like, yeah, I was like, all right, I need a few more. You know what I mean? Like, it made me go harder. But yeah, so I haven't experienced like color, you know, like racism to my face. God, you know, thank God. At WJZ was mainly black anyway, so we was always like a tight knit family. But here is, I haven't experienced that either. I definitely had to prove myself here because it's a bigger market, and they were like, "What does this little girl know about the DMV? You know, what does this little girl know about news? She only got 2 years under her belt. She only, when I started here, I was what, 27? She only 27. What she know about,
Yes.
I know a lot. So I definitely had to prove myself to be here, though. And I think that I have proven myself. But yeah, ageism is real. It's real. It's real. It's real.
Wow. And you said that you've been into the news since you were young. Do you think that that's really kind of shaped your career, and how important was that knowledge of journalism?
It's definitely shaped my career because I had tunnel vision. Like, I knew I didn't want anything else but to be a journalist. I was like, I'm only doing this. I'm only applying to this one internship because I don't need a backup plan because I know I want to be a journalist. Like, I was like that person. I was like that person. And I was always intrigued. Like, a lot of people always say, like, oh my God, the news is so negative. I would never let my children watch that. But I'm very thankful that my grandparents made us watch it. Because it showed me, like, the world isn't perfect. The world isn't perfect, but we also need more Black journalists. We need more Black journalists. We are making strides, and there is a lot of us, but we need more. Like, we need to dominate this field. That way we can tell our stories. Our stories need to be told. They don't need to be told from someone else's perspective who's never walked down the street in a Black neighborhood. We need to tell these stories. You know what I mean? And that's when people are like, well, yeah, you're from Baltimore. You're from Baltimore County, though. It doesn't matter to me. I'm still from Baltimore. And growing up, I've seen everything that Baltimore has, like, I've seen Baltimore chew people up and spit them out. You know what I mean? So I think we just need more Black journalists, male, female, I don't care. We just need more Black journalists to tell our stories. And stories that are important, because I'll go in a meeting, I'll go in a planning meeting, and I gotta fight tooth and nail for them to be like, all right, yeah, cool, Michelle, you got a point. Yeah, okay, well, let's just send a cameraman. That's all I ask. I gotta fight tooth and nail to say, hey, well, in Southeast, they're opening up a new grocery store for low-income families. Yeah, but, no. That's important to me.
Absolutely.
That's important to me because these people are poor and they don't have the money to afford groceries. And that's dope that the mayor is opening up a low-income grocery store where you can get as much groceries as you want, and if you only got 50 cents in your pocket, then that's what you pay for these $300 worth of groceries. Like, I think that's dope, and I think that needs to be told. And I think that in our community, people don't need to feel like we're ignoring them. We don't ignore them. And I tell them, I'm a little fish in a big pond now, but you just give me a few more years. Like, our stories will be told.
That's amazing.
They will be told.
And I know you've noticed my shift on Instagram as well, where I'm really trying to, it starts with the mom and pop shops and the entrepreneurs and the startups that are making our communities thrive. So that's my passion, being a native of DC. What is going to be my legacy? What am I leaving back to DC?
Correct.
So me and you are liking that way.
And liking that same way. Correct. It starts small, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You definitely have to start somewhere.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Well, while you're saying more Black or African American people in journalism, what do you think about the state of journalism now, or even the future of journalism, especially when now everything's blogging?
Girl.
I'm glad. I didn't want to throw shade, but it's very different. It's not journalism.
Thank you. I appreciate you for saying that.
It's not fact checking.
My gosh. I appreciate you because my biggest pet peeve is when somebody shares something on Facebook and I'm like, this is from 2016, blocked. Like, I will block you quick, fast, in a hurry. Oh my God, they'll be like, such and such just died. And me being a journalist, I'll click on it and I'll be like, this is from 2016. Like, I don't like people who don't read.
But what about those people that are just face value, you know what I mean? Accepting the fake news and don't know how to distinguish fake news from real news.
And that's why
scary.
It is scary, and that's why I guess me being a millennial, I guess you can call me that. I try to be as active as I can on my Twitter and my Facebook and my Instagram. Like, I'm sharing news on my Facebook and my Twitter all day, every day. And I'm so that people my age and my friends can have somewhere to go and be like, okay, I know this is legit because Michelle is sharing it. You know what I mean? Instead of just being like, well, I heard this. Is this true? And my friends, and like people on Facebook, people I don't even know, they always come to me and be like, hey, Michelle, I'm tired of sliding your messages like this, but I just want to know if this is true or not, or should I share this or not? You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm the millennial voice as far as like on social media, because I'm filtering that for you. Because I'll tell you in a quick, fast, and hurry, that's fake news. That's not that. This is from years.
Yeah.
Like it's not relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, but girl, that drives me insane when people share like old news or fake news but I mean, they don't know. Honestly, they don't know. Yeah. It sucks, but sometimes they don't know what's real and what's not, and it's really annoying that people are out here putting out fake news, and because it discredits us as journalists. You know, they're like, we'll say something, and then they're like, well, I read on this site, and I'm like, that site's not even a real site. You know what I mean? So it sucks, but I definitely just try to be that voice for the millennials. Yeah, I definitely do.
Does the ethics of journalism still is that still, like, for instance, my AP style guide is like my Bible. Yeah, so to you, I would think the ethics of journalism is like the end all be all. Like, is that even a thing?
I want to say it's like a case by case thing. It should be the same across the board, but I want to say some people don't take ethics into it. We're supposed to be truthful. Yeah. We're supposed to be fair. Yeah. Non-biased. Like, our opinions are not supposed to be in it, and I know it gets hard, especially for me, because I'm super opinionated. I am super opinionated. I'll like put something on Twitter, and like my news director will be like, "You can't say that." Like, and I'm like, "But you know me," and like my excuse is always like, "I'm from Baltimore, you know me," and he was just like, "Get away from me," you know what I mean? But we're supposed to be non-biased. We're not supposed to put our opinion in it. We're supposed to be fair. You know, we're supposed to be in the middle. We're supposed to be Switzerland. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not like that anymore. A lot of journalists are getting in trouble for lying. A lot of journalists are getting in trouble for saying things on the air or putting their opinions into things. You know, and you see people get fired for the things they say on social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? It only takes people 2 seconds to be like, this is Michelle Richardson, and she worked here. Twitter, do your thing.
Absolutely, those racist comments, and
correct.
I like that we live in that world where people have to be accountable.
I do like it. Yeah. I like it because I'm like, this person's being racist. Let's get them together. Yeah. I do like it as well. But journalists can't do that. Journalists can't do, and I know sometimes it's hard. Well, it's not hard to not be racist. You should never be racist, but it's hard to not give your opinion. Yeah, it's hard for me. I'll be on Facebook. And I try to train myself to not read the comments, but I read the comments, and it's hard. Wow. It's hard for me to be like, meet me outside, boo. Yeah. Like, it's hard. It's really hard.
Because you're operating within the image of this company.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So you got to be, and Sinclair, which is the company that owns us, we're really conservative. We're really conservative. So it's like, turn the other cheek, you know. Offer them a tour if they feel like, they say something about the media, I'm ready to jump on it because this is my career. Yeah. I love my career. Yeah. But it's more like, just offer them a tour so they can see that, we're not fake news. And it's like, no, I'm not a precious person in the neck. Yeah. But
and unfortunately that has a lot to do with our president. Like, how does that make you feel that he's discrediting,
Oh yeah, because everything he says is fake news. Like, he calls CNN fake news, and they are the truth. I don't know what he be talking about. Yeah. But
is that just his ploy? I mean, I'm so into the Mueller report right now. You know what I mean? So it's all a distraction.
Oh my god, like, politics is one thing I just like the one thing I'd rather not cover. Yeah. But I'm fortunate to work for a company that I don't have to put that on Front Street, who I support politically and who I don't support. I let it be known if I'm from Baltimore. Yeah. But
it's hard to show your affiliations because again, you don't want to be biased.
True, and I always tell people 2 things that are always off topic. I mean, not off topic, but off limits for me is politics and religion. Like, I just won't talk about them because that's just like a whirlwind. You can talk about that all day. People will debate you all day. But I don't want nothing to do with the White House right now. Like. Yeah, and I think that a majority of people here feel like that, but we gotta do our job. You know what I mean? So I can do my job and I can still roll my eyes at the same time. Like, oh my gosh. you know. But I'm non-biased when need be.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be at the place right now. Yeah. So you know, it's not easy for us when he's always shouting out fake news.
Right.
And then people find out where I work at, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's fake news, and it's like, really?
Yeah. Do you think you're losing viewership because of it?
No, I don't think we per se is losing viewership, because Sinclair is pretty much like Trump all day. Like, this station is pretty much like it's supportive. So I don't think we are. We're very conservative. We're a very conservative station. So I don't think we are, but I think that a lot of people do suffer from that. Like, a lot of the journalism that will speak out against him, I think that a lot of people suffer, like, they suffer from that. They lose followers, or they lose viewers, or their ratings go down. And it's like, you come to us to tell us the truth, and this is the truth. And even though you don't want to hear it because it's about your favorite president, it's still the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
Yeah.
And we're always going to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that.
it's like a fine line, a thin line, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. When you were talking about going to NABJ conferences,
Yes.
I spoke about this on an interview that I did last week, but as a public relations professional, I like that you made that like as a goal. You know, I try to set goals for myself, like every day, to reach out or make a relationship with, you know, to build my media list.
Yeah.
I'm trying to add at least 1 or 2 people.
Definitely.
Or, you know, positions are changing all the time. Updating my media list is so important. So in your industry, what would you say, or for especially people in public relations like me, how essential that is?
But I guess it just goes back to building your relationship. Always having like a little, you know, like, I guess, a Rolodex per se. And of course at NABJ, the National Association for Black Journalists, you can always do that. You can always do that. Like, people are just willing to, it's just such a welcoming group. People are just like willing to help you and network with you as much as possible. Like, people are just so willing to get you to the next step. You know what I mean? And I think it's because it is the African American community, and again, we do need more journalists, that people aren't afraid, like, oh, I'm not gonna help you. You know what I mean?
I feel like I was trained differently, because I was trained like, don't waste the reporter's time, don't waste the editor's time, don't, you know, if you're sending a story to Metro, don't send it to, you know what I mean, the news desk. Like, you know, don't have too many editors working on the same story. You know, it's all about.
I think that's like the older way of thinking.
Okay.
Right now, it's more of the more the better.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like the more the better. The more you see it, the better.
That's cool.
You wouldn't be wasting anyone's time. Reporters don't see your press releases anyway. I see your press releases, and then I push it to the reporters. Sometimes they may see it because reporters have their own connections too. They definitely have their own insiders. If they go to a scene and they got to figure out what happened, they have the police chief. Hey, this is such and such. Yeah, you know, you build those connections. Oh yeah, I know you. Yeah, you're my friend from such and such. Hey, what happened here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes a reporter will get more information from the scene from friends friends in the department he knows than I will, and then he'll tell me. You know what I mean? So it's literally just about everyone having those connections. Don't ever feel like you're wasting someone's time. Like, you're not wasting anyone's time. As far as press releases go, you do have to know who you're sending them to. As far as like I said, this station is really conservative, so don't send me a press release talking about you got a sexologist that can come on our Good Morning Washington show.
It's not the appropriate market.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct. Our viewers do not want to hear about sex at 7 a.m. They don't want to hear about sex on the 5 p.m. news. This is not the station for that.
It's all about crafting those angles.
Correct.
And I don't know that if people know that if they haven't been traditionally educated.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the line that I'm in, is that I see myself competing with a lot of people who say they're public relations representatives, but I don't see, you know what I mean, the credibility behind that. Do you notice when you get press releases?
Yes, I do, because I'm like, what is this new age stuff? Because they don't pay attention to who they're sending it to. Sometimes they don't pay attention to the market they send it to. Sometimes I get press releases for stuff in like Wisconsin, and I'm like, what?
Stop playing.
Yeah, and I'm like,
that's what I'm talking about, wasting time. Like, oh
now
my
that's
gosh.
a waste of time because it's like, I just read this press release and it's from Wisconsin.
I feel like that would damage my credibility. Like,
yeah,
that makes me look like I don't know.
It's annoying. It's annoying, but I wouldn't say to damage it because we get so many a day.
It doesn't.
5 minutes later, we forget who even sent that press release. But it is like Wisconsin. Like, who sent this? Like, was it an intern? No offense, Brandon. So like, you gotta know your market. You gotta know the station you're sending it to.
Yeah.
You know, like press releases, we get so many a day. I get so many a day. I got like 2-3 seconds to just skim it and be like, oh yeah, it sounds good. Let me put it in my daybook. So that way I can take it into the meeting and say, hey guys, I got this press release and I think it's pretty dope. I think we should do this.
You don't even have 15 seconds, you have 2 to 3 seconds.
2 to 3 seconds for me to skim it. The headline, if I don't like the headline, I'm like, all right, let me read a little more. If I don't like it, I'm like, I can't do this. Now, when I have time, I'll go back and read it and I'll be like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then sometimes I'll be like, all right, I literally just waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want, like, PR managers to know that you're never wasting our time. We need you guys just like you need us. Yeah, we need you. It's a relationship. We need you guys. We wouldn't have anything to cover if you guys weren't having these events, hosting these events, like putting these events together, bringing awareness to these events. So we need you guys just as much as you need us.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
How important would you say like AP style is, or I'm gonna put this also under my PS you taught me that I've been doing, but writing a press release, it was always be timely, be relevant, be concise. Would you say that the rules are still the same?
I would say they're still the same, but it's a little bit more loose now. Like now it's about grabbing our eye. Use those colors, use those fun designs.
Because we were always no fluff, you know? That's not journalism. You know, and I tell my interns that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, no, use those colors. So you can still stick to those rules, but just be a little lenient. Use those colors, use those images, use those pictures, draw my eye to it.
Okay.
And then once my eye is drawn to it, me personally, I like when press releases are started like they're talking to me. If you're sending me a press release for Botox, and your press release starts off saying, do you ever wake up in the morning and your skin is sagging? Do you ever think you wish you could have tighter jawline?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like when press releases are very chill, you know. So it really depends on the person. Which is why I tell people, like, just send me the press release. Because I know sometimes some people won't even look at it. But to me, I like when it's starting off like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like when it started off. I don't like when it's like super weird or super conservative. Like I like it to be a little loose, and I think that maybe goes back to me being a millennial journalist.
Okay.
But I like, you know, everything doesn't have to be serious in news. I know news is very draining, but everything doesn't have to be serious. Especially if you have a certain event, a fun event. Hey, we're opening up a new playground for kids. That's fun. That's good. Let your press release be fun. Okay. If you send it to me an email, I want to see like little graphics of kids going down the slides and stuff. Like I want to see fun stuff. Okay. Black and white is going to bore me. Okay. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
So, yeah. So I think those rules still apply, but just make it a little fun.
That's really cool that you say that.
Yeah, things are changing with social media and stuff. Yeah. Make it a little bit more fun.
Because I'm always telling my clients, what are your messages? We need to create emotion-provoking messages because the news wants to tell a story. Correct. Like, they don't care that you just opened a business, but it's, you know, I have a client in particular that does CBD. Like, let's talk about CBD for pets. Like, that's what viewers, it resonates. And
it resonates. For pets, let's talk about CBD oil for joint pain, stuff like that. Let's talk about what you have done with the community for your CBD oil. You know, like we just want a story to be behind it. Because there is a whole bunch of CBD. There's a whole bunch of places that sell CBD. What makes yours different? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So my whole point, you guys, was just to highlight that there are so many different positions in media. You know, it's not just your traditional beat reporter, you know, even though I think that that's an important stepping stone to getting, you know, where you are. You need to know how to write the news in the position.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I'm so glad I started behind the scenes, because I know how everything works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know pretty much how to do everything as well. And once grad school was over for me, I attend Georgetown. So,
stop it!
Yeah.
I didn't know you were still in school. That's amazing.
Yes, working on my master's. It's more of a personal thing. Like, I probably don't need my master's to do what I want to do.
You're an MA award.
Yeah, right. But it's a personal thing, and since they paying for it, I'm like,
that's right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So after grad school, I'm working more to get in front of the camera.
What?
Yeah. So I want to be a reporter.
That's cool that you're continuously growing. And
I'm trying.
Looking at different lanes.
Definitely trying. I definitely want to be in front of the camera, and I always told myself, like, this is going to be my last behind the scenes job. But I'm so grateful for behind the scenes. It taught me so much. It taught me to really appreciate the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So when I get in front of the camera, I can appreciate what these people do.
Yeah. What would you say to people who think that they can just become an anchor, or they're in broadcast journalism? You know, do they need to chase the storms and, you know, the tornadoes and cover the cows on the side of the road?
Like, it's an uphill battle. I mean, everyone's situation is different. I have friends who did a year or two as a reporter in like Georgia somewhere, and literally is an anchor now at 26 or 27 years old.
So it didn't take them 20 years to get in that position.
Yeah. It's just literally up to you, your hustle, your drive, like how bad you want it.
Yeah.
My friend Skylar, he is an anchor at Channel 2 in Baltimore. Skylar around my age. Skylar's about 27, 28.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And they're like, wait, he's an anchor? He's in his 20s and he's an anchor? Yeah, he's an anchor.
Wow.
He's an anchor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's all about just what you want. Some people actually don't want to be an anchor. Some people are like, I like being out in the mix. I like being out in these riots. I like being out at crime scenes. I like, you know, being out in this crazy rain that's knocking down trees. Some people want to be a reporter. Some people are like, I like being an MMJ. I like being just a reporter. Some people are like, sitting in the studio was born.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about what you want. And then when you hone in on what you want, you should just go for it.
Yeah.
Like, you should just go for it.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, like you might have to move away for like a year or two. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's what planes, trains, and buses are for.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, you should go for it. Like, Oprah didn't become Oprah to stay in her comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you should definitely go for it. Whatever it is that you want to do, go for it.
That's a great tip. So
Yeah,
I don't know if people feel comfortable to ask questions, but I know that we're just, please feel free to ask questions. I want it to be interactive, but definitely feel free that you can DM us sideline, and we'll definitely, you know, give you guys any tips that you need.
Super humble.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound humble saying it.
No,
That just sounds
I know,
weird.
but you have to say. And I really appreciate that.
I appreciate like when DMs.
I would never DM her, so that's so crazy that we were able to build this relationship. So now I feel like
I appreciate DMs. I don't mind if people like message me. I don't mind if people hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter is mrich WJLA. My Facebook is Michelle Richardson. Like I really don't mind. You know what I mean? I have no problem with it whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. As long as you are like, you know, respectful, whatever. I can answer any question you want me to.
That's nice. I guess I always feel like they don't have time. Like
contact
her, you know what I mean? Like I want to use my little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My entry for when it's good.
Right. I get you. That's how I used to be. I get you. But no, I'm an open book. Any questions anybody may have, like if you want to like try to work on getting your foot in the door, like that's what I'm here for. Because somebody opened the door for me. You know what I mean? Like it's not easy. You know, getting in the door.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird, but I think that once you just go for everything you want, you're good.
Yeah.
I also write. I'm also a freelance crime reporter for the Afro.
Yes.
In Baltimore. Yeah. So I've been with the newspaper for about 3 years now. And so I'm the reporter.
Shout out to me.
Yes, I'm the crime reporter. Right? So, And I literally, when I started in school, and I was at WJT, and I started, and I was like, I want to go to grad school, and I want to get my master's, so I can get in front of the camera. I was like, applying, and then they were like, you gotta have like not published work, but like submit writing samples to us.
I was gonna say not just writing samples, but like legitimate.
They would like submit writing samples to us, and it didn't even have to be legitimate. You could have written for your high school newspaper, and they would have took that. But me, I guess being like the overachiever, I was like, no, I want published work. I want like real work. So I started looking up the newspapers that was in Baltimore and Ports of Sun. They're at the big league, so they didn't get back to me. And B didn't get back to me, but the Afro got back to me. And they're like, yeah, we're looking for a freelancer. And it's so funny because when I went in for my interview with the Afro, they were like, so this is how much we pay for our article. And I was like, oh, y'all gonna pay me? I was gonna do it for free. Like I was gonna do it for free just to have those like published works so I could show Georgetown, like, look, I'm a real author. You know, like I'm a real journalist. So that's how that started, and I've been with them for like 3 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How hard is it for freelancers, by the way, pitching stories? Like, how many stories would you say you may have to pitch before you land, you know, your paid writing gig?
So we do a paper every week. It comes out on Thursdays. Sometimes my editor doesn't like some of the stories I pitch. He's like, not this week. Let's pick up next week. And I'm like, But I usually gotta pitch like 4 or 5 stories to him. Like, I mean, I'm the crime reporter in Baltimore, so it's not hard, sad to say.
Yeah.
But I literally gotta pitch like, well, do you like this one? Well, do you like this one? Well, I like this one, but how we gonna make it different from the Sun? Or do you like this one? So it's not, I don't think it's easy being a freelancer because I also was trying to like, I'm in the process of trying to write for like Essence and stuff. So like, you gotta like, I have those connections, but somebody just gotta give you that chance.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's easier. It's not easy for freelancers, but please just stick with it because it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it when you get those published works and you build your catalog. It's so worth it. So just stick with it, freelancers. And like I said, I was freelance at WJT for 2 years. So your time is coming. Your time is coming. Sorry guys, that's my alarm. I have to take my vitamin.
I was about to say, shoot, she's supposed to be asleep right now.
No, I gotta take my vitamin. You know, I'm a grown girl.
Thank you. I'm not gonna hold you, but can you tell us what's the difference in the 2 newsrooms?
Between newspaper and television?
Yes.
So funny. Okay, so, oh my god. Writing for newspaper is way easier than writing for television.
Wow.
Television, you're writing for television and you're doing a package, like your reporter, his package has to be, like when they say tight, I mean like 1 minute, no more, no less. He got to get all this information into 1 minute.
Yeah.
So like, Michelle, we need you to keep it tight. And I'm like, damn.
You're literally writing the scripts.
I'm like, I'm
down to 15 seconds, 10
literally,
seconds.
I'm like, how am I going to put all this information about 12 people dying and 7 people still being on the loose and, you know, this and this and that. How am I going to get this into 1 minute